the OldPreMeds podcast, session number 211. You're a non-traditional student entering the medical field on your terms. You may have had some hiccups along the way, but now you're ready to change course and go back and serve others as a physician. This podcast is here to help answer your questions and help educate you on your non-traditional journey to becoming a physician. Welcome to the OldPreMeds podcast. My name is Dr. Ryan Gray, and I'm excited to bring another amazing episode to you today. A great question from Premed 42 asking about early decision. Now, if you don't know what the OldPreMeds podcast is or what OldPreMeds is, go to oldpremeds.org. It will forward you to medicalschoolhq.net and tell you all about OldPreMeds and who we are and what our mission is here for you non-traditional pre-med students. Our question today is from, as I said, Premed 42, and they say, "Hey all, I am a 42-year-old career changer. I am very tied to a specific geographic area as I am unwilling to relocate my family to pursue a career in medicine, at least at this time. Because of this, I plan to apply to the only two schools that are within commuting distance. There is a competitive MD school in my city and a less competitive MD school about an hour away. As with most non-traditional pre-meds, time away from my family is a major concern for me, and so I have a strong first preference to attend the closer school. My MCAT score is exactly at the closer school's median, while it is over the 90th percentile score for the school that is farther away. I think I may have a good chance to get in at the closer school, but I am definitely not the, quote, very strong applicant they mentioned on their website when discussing their early decision process. Is there any advantage to applying early decision to my first choice school? In other words, would the fact that I opted to apply early decision make me any more attractive to them as a candidate than if I applied the regular way when submitting my application to both schools in early June?" Another question for non-traditional applicants that have been out of school for a very long time, 15 plus years for me. Ouch. How important is my GPA from nearly 2 decades ago? Do schools give more weight to the MCAT score in this case as an indicator of my current abilities? With the trends in grade inflation, might my older GPA look, quote, better than an equivalent number from a current student? Thanks for any help or advice. All right. Well, there's a lot to unravel here. So let's talk about early decision. In my mind, for most people, early decision is more of a risk than anything else. In this situation, when you are very rigid with where you are applying, early decision may be a good idea. Now, early decision typically is good if you have strong ties to the school itself, not necessarily the area. And so I recommend all students who are applying early decision, and it's required for some schools for early decision, is you reach out to the admissions committee. A lot of times they want to talk to you first before you apply early decision, and they will tell you if you are a good candidate for early decision or not. Now, applying early decision doesn't necessarily make you a stronger candidate because you are applying early decision. You still have to be a strong applicant to that school. You have to have really, 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 really strong reasons as to why you are applying early decision to that school. It's like you're jumping ahead of the game, not dating the school, and you want to jump straight to marriage. And schools are very hesitant, and rightfully so. They're cautious about the schools, the students that are applying early decision, and they want to make sure that those students are a good fit. Now, being a non-traditional student kind of tied to the area, that may help you. If you are really, really dead set on going to that school, then I would really reach out and talk to them. The biggest potential issue that I see with this, obviously without knowing anything else about your application, whether you have clinical experience in shadowing and volunteering, and what all of that looks like, is the fact that your grades are from 2 decades ago. Now, I don't know if you have any new grades. That's a question potentially. I'm hoping that you have grades that are more recent and you're talking kind of about your overall GPA and the majority of your classes. If you don't have anything newer, I would really reach out to the schools again and say, hey, like I'm a super non-traditional student. My grades are really old. Are you going to accept them? Because a lot of schools are going to want something newer. Now, yes, you've taken the MCAT, you've done well. That's awesome. But that doesn't mean that you like being a student anymore. It just means that you're very good at taking the MCAT. So if you haven't taken any classes lately, that a lot of times is a potential issue when it comes to applying to medical school. So again, I always recommend going right to the horse's mouth. Go and reach out to the medical schools directly, right to the admissions committee, especially if you are considering applying early decision. Reach out to them and say, hey, here's who I am. I'm thinking about applying early decision because really you're the only school I can go to. Now, I will tell you for this student, right, 2 schools, 1 local and 1 an hour away. Medical school an hour away, in my mind, is not a commutable school. That's too far to commute for medical school. And so if that's something that you're thinking about, I hope you're thinking about getting an apartment and staying on campus or staying near campus during the week and then going home on the weekends. But an hour away from medical school, in my mind, that's not a commutable drive. That's just way too far for medical school. So it sounds like, in my mind, there's only 1 school that you can go to. And so, hey, apply early decision. Obviously, the risk for early decision for most students, if they are applying to more than 1 school, is the fact that you can only apply to 1 school. Early decision, you have to wait until the end of September, or at the very latest, the end of September, for those results. And then if you don't get early decision, then you are allowed to apply to other schools' regular decision, kind of regular pool of applicants. And at that point, you're kind of behind at the 8 ball. But it sounds like in this case, 1 school is where it's at. So good luck. Reach out to the school, talk to them about your old grades, talk to them about why you are applying early decision to their school, talk about and do some research about the school and why you're a good fit for the school, not just because you live there, but more about why you're a good fit for the school as well. So good luck to you. If you have a question you want answered here on the podcast, potentially go to premedforums.com, find the non-traditional pre-med forum and the old pre-meds forum, and ask your question there. Hope you have a great week. We'll see you next time here on the Old Pre-Meds podcast.
This is MedEd Media.